silver screen Scarehouse with Lisa and Linnie. I'm your host, Lisa, and with me, of course, is my co-host, Linnie. When you come to the Scarehouse, we'll be reviewing 3 movies. We may not always agree, but as lifelong film fanatics, you'll get honest opinions from 2 different sides of the aisle, followed by an old-fashioned knives up, knives down final rating. This week, Linnie and I will be chatting about It Follows, Smiley, and While She Was Out. So let's get It Follows out of the way because it's the one that everyone's talking about, and it was finally released wide in all theaters, even in the theater in my small town.
Yeah, so, same here. It's in 3 theaters here, which is insane.
What? Yeah, it's in 2 theaters here. Look out! Okay, so written and directed by David Robert Mitchell, It Follows is a supernatural horror film that follows a young girl who's pursued by an indeterminate supernatural force after a sexual experience. Linnie, go.
Man, I feel I am embracing my cheese status as the cheese standing alone here. And actually, the more people that see it, I find that actually more people are not entirely as fanatically on board as people were in the beginning. But I did not like this movie at all. The first 5 minutes, I was 100% on board. I loved those first 5 minutes. I thought they were terrifying. So utterly creepy, atmospheric. The way those first 5 minutes end with a girl on a beach completely contorted in these horrible positions were just an absolutely memorable, terrifying shot. And then the rest of the movie did not live up to that for me. I felt like it was a collection of really beautiful parts that did not add up to a whole. Atmosphere-wise, it was beautiful. It was gorgeously shot. Macon Monroe, who starred in it, who's from The Guest, was fantastic, but I didn't feel anything. I wasn't scared. I didn't feel attached to any of the characters. I didn't find any of it frightening. I don't know. I just did not connect to it the way everyone else is. And I actually watched it a second time to see if I was just being overly judgmental, but no, I felt absolutely nothing.
I agree. The opening was the best thing ever, and that girl, that diva, can run in high heels like nobody's business.
Yeah, good lord, I can't even run like that in flats.
But I loved the look on her face, and you didn't know what she was looking at, and that was great. And then, basically, I agree with most of what you said. I was down with Jay. I like Jay. I did want her to find a way to outrun or get rid of whatever it is, but it was really hard to care about people who are old enough to drink but don't have jobs. I don't understand. Was it summer break or something? Everybody was sitting around drinking.
I actually wondered about that too. I was like, what do these kids do? Like, nobody's doing anything ever. They're just hanging out all the time. And even when I was homeschooled, so obviously my high school experience was different, but I had a job during the summer. Like, I don't understand what was happening ever. I felt very confused by a lot of the plot. I guess maybe that was the point. I know a lot of people have talked about how they loved that there was no pinpointing the time frame. But at the same time, I found that really frustrating, is that I couldn't... All right, I have to ask you about this, because I asked Suzanne, our supernatural honey at the Horror Honeys, and she had no answer either. One of her friends was constantly reading from what looked like a birth control pill packet.
I thought the same thing. I think we're aging ourselves. That was totally a birth control pill packet.
What was she reading out of?
A seashell that, tells magic tales. I don't know.
That was driving me insane. I was so distracted by that the whole time. It's like, it looked like the implication was that she was reading a book, but it looked like she was reading a book out of her birth control pills. It was, what is that? I felt like I was losing my mind. And the fact that actually distracted me from the story multiple times shows you how invested I was in it.
I was just every time that girl pulled that out, I thought, I don't have a Kindle like that.
Yeah, like, is this, that actually made me think it was some sort of future, where is that what all e-readers look like? Do they look like seashell birth control packets? Like, what? Oh, man, that drove me nuts.
Well, it was such a polar opposite of, I think we had that couch when I was 5. I mean, all the furnishing in the houses was from the 70s, straight from the 70s.
Oh, absolutely. It looked very late 70s, early 80s. That was the vibe I got off of it.
And that's what a lot of people are liking, the throwback vibe to 70s, 80s. And specifically, people are saying they feel like it's a John Carpenter throwback. I feel like it's almost... I don't want to use that word. It's more than a throwback. I mean, even the soundtrack, some of those songs sound really too much like John Carpenter music.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely get the vibe that he watched Halloween a lot before he had made that film.
I felt like he watched Halloween and all of the Adam Wingard films. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
It's just, I feel like I had seen this movie 20 times before, and I'm done. And I thought it was gorgeous, and it was beautiful. And the cinematographer had these amazing wide shots that were just sublime. But I didn't care. And other people have enjoyed that the entity was not explained. No, I need to know where it came from.
Right.
I need to know something.
Right.
More. Just something. I'm not asking for a lot, just something. And then I didn't understand why everybody wanted to have sex with her.
Yeah, her best friend that was constantly trying to bone her to the point where he was willing to take on the creepy awfulness just to have sex with her, that was more frightening.
That was weird. And then there's that scene where she, sees those guys on the boat, and I thought, where are we going with this?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind. I call them nega endings. Like, I don't mind that if there's been enough up to that point that I've been engaged and I've been fed enough information to supply it with my own theories. And this is one of those cases where I don't feel like I was given enough information. And it's because at one point, the guy that gives her this sexually transmitted spiritual disease tells her that it's going to take on the form of people that she knows. But for the most part, the people that she sees, we know nothing about. Like, she sees an old lady, but who is that old lady? She sees this creepy little kid, but who is that creepy little kid? Like, we don't know that these are people that she knows. She has no reaction to them like they're people connected to her. So I feel like it set up its own mythology that it didn't stick to. And I think people are so hungry for a original and beautiful horror film that they're willing to overlook these mistakes. And I guess I'm just not that desperate. Like, I'm not saying it's not a beautiful film and that it doesn't have good points, but I don't think it is the savior of horror cinema that people are touting it to be either.
Oh, goodness gracious. No, I think one of those kids was one of the little creepers that lived next door to her.
Was that the one crawling through that looked like Haley Joel Osment crawling through the wall?
I think it was, one of the little creeper kids.
Okay, so yeah, by that point I wasn't keeping track anymore.
Well, and that's the thing. I agree with everything. They just, I don't know, I feel like they just gave us some really cool looking stuff with some really pretty people and a really nice soundtrack. And then the final act, to me, was a lot different in tone than the rest of the movie. And I just felt like it lifted the spell. I was totally under this hypnotic spell of not knowing what the time period was and whatever's going on. I was not scared like you. At no point was I terrified of anything.
Right.
But that final act was just totally different, and I don't know. I checked out when the Cloak of Invisibility came out.
Right. Oh, man. Yeah. I have felt very contrarian up till now when other people have been seeing it and saying, yeah, I'm not so sure. But up until it went wide release, I really did feel very alone. Like, why am I the only one that hates this movie? Because I genuinely did not like it. And it wasn't me just trying to be stubborn and be like, no, everyone else loves it, so I don't like it. Like, because I'm not hipster like that. You know, I try to be very open-minded about everything. But yeah, it was frustrating for me because I did really feel like I was missing something. And people are being really defensive about it. Like, super defensive.
Are they? Yesterday on Twitter, I asked people why they liked it, and everybody kind of had the same response in the sense that everybody likes how it looked and what it felt like. And that is a lot, but I feel like I've felt like this lots of other times, and so it just kind of felt, been there, done that. However, people love it so much, and it is so beautiful. I would not go so far as to not recommend it. I would actually recommend people seeing it so then they could form their own opinion.
Okay.
So, that would be where my knife up comes in.
And instead of a knife this week, I am a brick of cheese, standing alone.
Cheese stands alone.
I am the cheese. I choose to be the cheese this week.
Good for you.
Yes. I like being the cheese. So that's one knife up from Lisa, one brick of cheese from Linnie on It Follows. Now nationwide, so see it. Okay, so our next movie this week is currently available on Hulu Plus if you are a subscriber. It is from 2008, and it is called While She Was Out, starring the lovely Miss Kim Basinger. Della Myers is an overwhelmed upper-middle-class housewife who lives in the suburbs with her 2 children and her abusive husband, played by the fat man that ate Craig Schaefer. Kenneth lets blah, whatever. All right, this is a really long explanation. It's too long. So, anyway, Della goes out to buy Christmas wrap, and she inadvertently crosses paths with a bunch of messed up teenagers who are dicks, led by Lucas Haas, who is definitely not a teenager. And then they chase her into the woods, and she has to fight them off with everything inside the toolbox from her car. Will she survive against a group of vicious teenagers who want nothing more than to see her dead? Lisa, what did you think?
Well, I don't think it's inadvertent that she crossed paths with them, because if you put an antagonizing note on someone's car, you might as well just say, "Dear weird people, please come rape me."
This is true.
But
the funny thing is,
been at the mall at Christmas, but settle down, girl. Don't take the time to write a note. Just go get your wrapping paper.
The first time when I watched the movie, I know I was doing other stuff because I'm always working. I'm always doing other things while I watch movies. I totally missed her putting the note under the car. So until I looked back later, I was like, wait, what started all this? Like, why is this happening? And then I look back later and I'm like, oh, she put a note on this. The kids take up 2 parking spaces with their big old junky car. And she says, jerks taking up 2 spaces. How selfish can you be? And apparently that's enough to drive these kids into murdering a security guard and then chasing her down. So, yeah, agreed. Cool it. It's Christmas.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Kim Basinger, that woman clearly bathes in unicorn blood, but
right?
She
looks amazing, and it's not fake surgery amazing. She looked amazing.
She's kind of annoying, and she is. I like the way they set the tone at the beginning, where you kind of just fall into her pattern of she's at the mall, she's at Starbucks, her husband's a dick, but that guy's always a dick.
For as amazing as Kim Basinger looked, Craig Schaefer, seriously, he looked like a fat middle-aged man ate Craig Schaefer. He looked awful and plastic surgery and gross. And he used to be really hot. I don't know if anyone remembers him from the 80s and A River Runs Through It and Some Kind of Wonderful. Yeah, and he looks awful. Oh my God. Yeah, he plays her abusive dick husband that thinks she focuses too much on their twin children. Dick.
Well, that set up a lot of convenient moments where, she was given something by her kid that she put in her pocket, and she's so busy that she didn't have time to charge her cell phone, and so all of these things make this magic moment happen of her being pursued by these dumb boys, and her phone doesn't work, this, that, and the other thing, and I don't understand how it turned into like a Rambo film where they're following her in the woods.
See, that's okay. I think this is where it's my turn to be like forgiving, because I loved that. I don't know why I enjoyed it so much, but like when she at one point she leaps like a panther on top of this kid and jams an awl into the side of his head or his neck or something, and I'm like, yeah! Like, I loved that. And that is why I carry an awl in my car at all times. Because you should always carry an awl in your car. Horror Honey advice. Jam into people's heads. But yeah, I mean, it's so ridiculous. It's like she has this toolbox full of completely useful save yourself tools. I mean, at one point she jams a bolt or whatever you use to loosen the bolts on your tires. She just jams that shit right up into a kid's jaw. It's like, yeah, that's awesome. I don't know. It's crazy. It's like, it's all the stuff you see with a man making all of the shit around him work. It's like MacGyver, but with a housewife in the woods. And like, I don't know. The only scene I was not on board with was when she and Lucas Haas did it, because that was disgusting.
I can hear you freaking out. Well, at first, when she meets up with him, and Lucas Haas, that kid, I don't know, he'll always be the kid from that movie. What was it, The Woman in White or something? But
I was going to say Witness. Like, that's all I think of.
Yeah, a little Amish boy.
I had this giant Amish hat.
Yeah, when their interaction occurred for a hot second, I thought, oh, have they known each other this whole time?
Yeah, there was definitely that moment.
And I thought, well, that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. Like, it's some sort of weird, whacked out sex game,
Yeah.
Like, who can blame her? She's got huffy dude at home who hits her, so. But then that's not what it was. And then I was like, I don't even care. And then the ending was so predictable. Like, an 8-year-old could have written it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I totally saw the ending coming. But at the same time, like, the scene with the two, with her and Lucas Haas, I mean, it was building to something very creepy. I think I was messaging Kat while I was watching, going, oh my god, they're doing it! And Kat's like, well, that escalated quickly.
Exactly.
It totally did. It's leading up to that point, I mean, personally, because I love movies where women act insane and somehow turn into magical badasses, which is totally what this was. It was crazy, and it's absolutely mindless and totally ridiculous, but, it's one of those, it was written based on a short story, written and directed by a woman. I just feel like there's attention to detail in it that's really cool. Like, she leaves the house with perfectly straightened hair, and as the movie progresses and she's out in the woods, her hair frizzes. Like, it's all these little details that a woman director totally pays attention to that I loved. I feel like it's a mindless, entertaining action revenge film, and there are worse ways to kill an hour and a half compared to a lot of the crap that's on Netflix and Hulu. So, I enjoyed it. Knives up for me.
Oh, I just gotta go knife down. I just, bleh, bleh. I'm not mad. I don't need my 90 minutes back, but there was just, you know what I think? I think maybe they broke my heart when it didn't go the way I wanted it to with her and Lucas.
That's fair. That's fair. There could have been a better ending. No arguments here.
Yeah.
So your rating is?
Knife down.
Yep. So knife up, knife down on While She Was Out. You decide if you want to pursue it, dear listeners. And so our last film for this week.
This would be Smiley, directed by Michael J. Gallagher. Smiley brings us the story of Ashley. She's a mentally fragile college student who believes that she will be the next victim of a serial killer who can be summoned through the internet. If you have insomnia, this movie has been available to you for the last 6 months on Showtime or Cinemax in the middle of the night. And if you were like me, you thought, what? No, we're not watching this. And then you started watching it one night and they kept saying LOLs, L-U-L-Z. And then everybody was talking about it, so you watched it again and you got a little bit further. And then your horror sister makes me watch it.
I'm telling you, every time, like, when I saw that was the trigger phrase, like, I can't take this movie seriously.
Why are they saying LOLs? Why can't, is LOLS some sort of trademark thing or something? Why is it LULZ?
I don't know, but I've never I don't hang out with a lot of young people, but I don't think I've ever in my life heard anyone say, I did it for the lulz. Like, what?
No. Some old person made that up.
And, like, hearing, Roger Bart is in this movie, who I have a weird crush on. Hearing that come out of his mouth put me into absolute hysterics.
Me too.
Like, I doubled over laughing.
Roger Bart definitely, I think, will always have a special place in most horror people's hearts. You know, every time I see him, I get excited, and I think about how he'll get castrated.
See, I didn't even see that until recently, because I never watched that movie all the way through.
Okay.
And I've loved him from Broadway stuff, and, why am I blocking now? Extraction. I love him. And, oh God, this movie is so stupid.
So dumb.
Like, and the thing that killed me more than anything is that then it finally got to the end, and I'm like, okay, this ending is actually kind of unsettling. I'm willing to accept that this is kind of a creepy ending. And then they ruin it with a crappy jump scare that completely negates the creepy ending and makes no fucking sense. I was so mad. It was like, that made watching the rest of the movie even worse.
See, I didn't even find that ending to be creepy. I felt like I've seen it back in the 90s.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it's totally a recycled ending. But it makes absolutely no logical sense. There is no way this bunch of dumbass college kids could manage to organize a wide-scale con like that. I mean, these kids don't even look like they could tie their own shoes in the morning. So there's certainly no way they could coordinate a massive con like that. But it was just the idea that I'm always creeped out by kids murdering and doing shit just for fun or for the lulz, as they say it. It's like, I feel like this whole movie is based around the concept that somebody had a really good idea for a creepy mask, and then they just wrote a movie around the mask. They're like, whatever.
Creepy mask. He's so happy.
He is. He's always so happy to see you.
He even waves.
Yeah.
Very polite.
Yeah, he is. He seems like a nice guy that just got a bad rap. Maybe that's why he's so pissed off.
I don't blame him. He's mad because they're misspelling lol.
Yeah. That's why he comes to see you. He's like, your internet grammar is really offensive to me, so I'm going to have to kill you. It's, oh, man.
These kids, these super geniuses, I mean, they're the kind of vapid person that comes out of a Bret Easton Ellis book. Like, these people are idiots, and you don't care. And then the main girl, her acting, like, trying to act like she was really terrified, honestly, was all I could think about when I was watching It Follows. I thought, this is how it looks when somebody's terrified of something.
Her scream was driving me insane. She has this really high-pitched, awful, shrieky scream. And I had to keep turning the volume down anytime she opened her mouth. It's like, it was an instantaneous reaction. It's like, oh, she's scared, volume down. Like, I cannot listen to her scream anymore. And when she smiled, her smile was creepier than the mask.
Well, did you stay for the end of the credits?
No. I don't know if it was you or someone else who said something about an end credit scene.
Yep, there's an end credit scene.
What is it?
Well, I mean, I know this is going to blow your mind, because this is like, a height of creativity with this movie. But after the end credits, they zoom in on her, and she wakes up.
Oh. So that's it?
Mm-hmm.
Of course. So, sequel. somebody's going to put on the Smiley mask and take her revenge.
Yeah, and, I'll be first in line.
Yeah. Smiley 2, The Revenge. There you go. I just saved you a lot of energy, Smiley creators. There's your movie. Like Jaws, The Revenge. Smiley, The Revenge.
At least Jaws, The Revenge is amusing.
It's true.
I was also told by a nice person on Twitter that the person who plays Smiley is Nicholas on The Walking Dead right now. So anybody who watches that show, that's your tidbit trivia.
I don't. So
I know, but
and I'm trying to think, like, do I know who that is?
No, but you would hate him. If any, you hate.
Is this Porch Dick?
No.
Oh.
This guy's worse than Porch Dick.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
If Chris
It was
Hart...
just funny that somebody told me that. And I was
Chris
like, well,
Hardwick didn't bother to give him a name, then he can't be that great.
This is true.
Yeah. I don't... Oh, man. I swear when I was watching that movie, the only thing that kept me intrigued was Roger Bart. And then that creepy scene in his office where I thought he was going to try to molest her.
Yeah.
Like,
I love Roger Bart.
He's so amazing. He's so funny. If nobody's seen The Producers, the movie version, see that. That's a great creepy Roger Bart. But good Lord. Ugh.
My introduction to him was on Desperate Housewives. I'm sure it's no shock to anybody. But now he has this wonderful career in horror movies. And I always get a little giddy when I see him.
He is fantastic. Yeah, oh man, this movie, I don't know what they were trying to do. And I know there's some subset of horror fans that just love it. But I don't understand you people. I don't feel like we'd have anything in common.
I literally stopped this movie twice before I ever finished watching it. And that's a lot for me. So this is a huge, huge knife down for the Smiley. I got no lulls for Smiley.
No lulls for me either. None of the lulls. All of the knives down.
All of that.
And also, if you do say lulls to either of us on the internet, you will be getting a knife down your throat. Just letting you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyone that says it. Just don't.
Please
Seriously,
don't.
I don't. They must have made that up for the movie because I swear I've never heard anyone say that in real life.
I've never seen it.
I also hate people that use internet words in real conversation. Like they get up and they go BRB. Like, that drives me insane.
Oh,
So
I do that when I'm joking with myself, but then I like to say BT dub.
There are certain exceptions, but yeah, no. So
Yeah,
this
mostly
whole
awful.
this whole lulls thing is just ridiculous. And I think we've said it more than 3 times, and we're both still alive. So your little urban legend, unfortunately, has been proven false. So
do we have to say it 3 times in a row like Beetlejuice, though?
I don't know. I don't care to find out. 'Cause all I do is if he showed up is ask him why his movie sucks so bad. Smiley.
That's what he's so happy about.
Yeah. Why are you so happy, Smiley? Your movie was terrible.
It's called Smiley. BT dub. A horror movie shouldn't be called Smiley.
Frowny, maybe, but not Smiley.
Oh my god. Okay. We should stop giving so much attention to it.
Agreed. All right. So that's officially 2 knives down for Smiley.
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you, Darklings, for joining us for episode 4 of the Silver Screen Scarehouse. If you'd like to chat with us about any of the movies reviewed today, you can
Except
find
Smiley.
What?
Except Smiley.
Except Smiley. Smiley, please don't talk to Linnie, but she is on Twitter, everybody else.
I am at Linnie Loohoo, LINNIELOOWHO.
And I'm at LCFREMONT. If you have a movie you'd like for us to queue up in the Scarehouse, please drop a comment below or let us know on Twitter. Stay stabby, kids!